everyone, this is Karen.
Hey everybody, I am Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of political correctness, a war of words, and the vocabulary words are merit.
Merit.
Joanna's plan has many merits that are worth considering.
Justice.
Justice.
The court's decision filled the victim's family with a sense of justice.
Aggressively.
Aggressively.
The salesman aggressively tried to sell his product.
Enforce.
Enforce.
Our basketball coach is quite strict and is always trying to enforce good behavior.
Equality.
Equality.
Scott hopes that true racial equality can one day be a reality.
So we're still talking about political correctness.
That's right.
So I think that the concepts of political correctness are really evident in society right now.
That's
like,
right.
If you see somebody and you want to know if they have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you might say, do you have a partner? Because you don't want to assume that they are straight by assumption, right?
That's right.
So we're very careful. We don't want to offend people or make them feel that they're weird or awkward.
That's right. You want to put yourself in their shoe, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, so do you have a partner? I think that's one good example. But I think some people would argue that being politically correct is also overly sensitive.
Yeah, so that really you're just trying to be thought police, right? The police telling people what to think and what to say. You shouldn't be so sensitive because if we want to progress in society, we can't be so weak and sensitive.
But I don't really agree with that though. I do believe that having a little bit of empathy, thinking for the other people, it makes our society definitely a better place, right?
I agree with you. I think a little bit of, I mean, sometimes it can go too far, being politically correct, but the important thing is what you said, empathy.
Thinking for other people.
Great.
All right.
Let's learn more and let's all be politically correct.
All right. Enjoy.
Political correctness, a war of words.
Today, political correctness remains a common idea in society. A person might ask someone about their partner in order to avoid gendered terms like girlfriend or boyfriend, or they might avoid assuming the gender of someone based on their profession, such as thinking all nurses are female. However, in America and other parts of the world, there is plenty of debate about the merits of being politically correct.
Today's lesson is called Political Correctness, a War of Words, Part 2. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike, and we're talking about political correctness, being careful with your language so as not to offend other people, not to seem rude, not to hurt other people's feelings. This is kind of a thing that most of us would do naturally. No one likes to be rude, but sometimes the words do change as people get more sensitive or start to think about groups in society in different ways. The language changes, so it's something you need to be aware of, especially if you're an English learner. If you're a student of English moving to a place like North America, words that you might have learned were okay might not be okay. And of course, there's a political aspect to this that we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, and last time I talked about, how I'm Polish, and when someone tells a joke about the Polish, it offends me. Now, all jokes aside, that would be an example of how using a term like that, and not meaning to offend anyone, can still really hurt someone's feelings. You think that's a funny joke, but the person who's the butt of that joke isn't going to find that funny at all. So let's watch our words, everyone. Okay, let's move on and start reading from today's article. Today, political correctness remains a common idea in society. Yes, be polite, don't be rude, don't try to offend anyone, and if you do, try to find out how you can say the right things so that it doesn't happen again. Anyways, a person might ask someone about their partner these days in order to avoid gendered terms like girlfriend or boyfriend. Like last time we talked about business person. Yes, for years and years and years, people have said businessman or businessman. Well, let's not gender terms like that anymore. business person, please. The same way we go with partner now instead of saying girlfriend or boyfriend. We don't use gendered terms anymore.
And in some ways, a term like partner makes perfect sense. I mean, people can be in their 50s or 60s and not be married, but have a boyfriend or girlfriend when you're 55 years old. Sounds a little strange. So partner might be good. And it can also cover those people who live together their whole lives, just like husband and wife or whatever, but they never actually get married. So a partner, that's a good term, and it covers lots of things like business person. You know, it covers a lot of different categories. Male, female, no one will be upset or offended. Or they might avoid assuming the gender of someone based on their profession, such as thinking all nurses are female.
Or all doctors are male.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there you go. So a male nurse, you know, you don't have to assume that if someone is a nurse, they're a woman, or a man who works in a hospital is a doctor. That is not the way the world works anymore.
However, all of these ideas sound great. However, though, in America and other parts of the world, there is plenty of debate about the merits of being politically correct. So everything that we're saying, I think it makes sense, but still, the debate rages on.
Yeah, the merits of something are the positive aspects, the good things about it, the good reasons to do it also. So the merits of exercise, well, you'll live longer, you'll be healthier, you'll sleep better, your mind will be more relaxed and calm. These are the positive things, the merits, the good things about something. For example, Joanna's plan has many merits that are worth considering, many good things about Joanna's plan.
I like Joanna's plan.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good plan.
Definitely.
What also sounds good? A break. So let's go ahead and take a break, but we'll be back soon.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。政治正确性是慎选用字的行为。像开玩笑的时候，要是你没有注意言语而冒犯到特定人群，那么那些被嘲笑的对象会感到不舒服，一点都笑不出来。Jeff 老师刚刚用到 the butt of the joke， 不是说笑话的屁屁哦 ，but 在这边不是指屁股，而是嘲笑的对象或者是笑柄。好，那么课文提到说，现在政治正确性是社会上一个普遍观念，大家都会尽量避免性别用字。而在美国和世界其他地区，关于政治正确的优点，其实有很多争论。这些争论在各地激烈的进行着。Jeff 老师刚刚用到 rage 这个动词 rage， 它当动词表示激烈进行、肆虐的意思，后面常常接 on， 我们会说 rage on。好，那么单字 merit 它表示优点或是价值。这句话课文中。
Political correctness, a war of words.
For those against it, politically correct is another way to say overly sensitive. These people maintain that free speech is necessary to a free society. They also believe the current cultural climate has given rise to social justice warriors, which refers to people who aggressively enforce politically correct views for personal validation rather than truly believing in the value of such views.
Okay, so there is a debate against political correctness. No one would ever say that they're against being polite, but some people do think that political correctness goes too far. Advanced politeness for adults, people think that might be a bit much. Now, for those against it, politically correct is another way to say overly sensitive. Oh my goodness, I can tell a Polish joke, big deal, nobody's really offended by that anyways. Don't be so sensitive. Gosh, you're overly sensitive.
Interesting. They kind of say, oh, it's just a word, just ignore it, it doesn't really mean anything. These people maintain that free speech is necessary to a free society. Well, okay, I can see that argument. If you have the freedom to say what you want, that gives you the freedom to criticize your leaders, and that leads to a free society. Okay, but often those people, they've never really been insulted themselves.
Sure.
They've never been on the bad end of, using this free speech, so it's easy for them to criticize others for being overly sensitive.
And there's more. They also believe the current cultural climate has given rise to social justice warriors, which refers to people who aggressively enforce politically correct views for personal validation rather than truly believing in the value of such views. Yes, I'm going to call you out for your language, but am I genuinely insulted by what you've said or genuinely offended? Some people think that they're not. Anyways, yes, we're talking about social justice warriors. Now, before we get into that any deeper, let's talk about the word justice. Okay, usually when we talk about justice, we're talking about a sense of right and wrong. Okay, if you want justice, something bad has been done to you, and you want to make sure that that is somehow taken away, that things are set right once again. So maybe a person who's done something wrong, they need to go to court. They need to face justice and pay for what they've done. Pay society back for something bad that they've done to society. So you either have justice or you can bring someone to justice. But here we have people who are fighting for social justice. They want to make sure that everyone is treated equally and that people watch what they say. Anyways, for example, the court's decision filled the victim's family with a sense of justice. Finally, things have been set right once again after we've been wronged. I feel much better now.
They feel like the law treated them fairly.
There you go.
All right, and aggressively. This adverb means kind of in a strong, forceful, pushy way, maybe even an angry way. We often use it to describe how we do things, not necessarily what we do, but how we do it. If I say, hey, what did you do last night? Did you hang out with your friends? That's a fairly normal question. I wasn't being aggressive or angry. But if I was a police officer investigating a crime, where were you last night? Who were you with? I would be asking you in an aggressive way, questioning you aggressively because I'm trying to get answers. I'm trying to scare you, shake you up, as the police might if they're looking into a crime. So it's kind of how you do things. If you do it in a strong, forceful way, maybe with a bit of anger, you might be doing it aggressively. For example, the salesman aggressively tried to sell his product. This is the best product. You have to buy it. If you don't buy it, you'll regret it.
You're pushing too hard there, salesman. Wow. Anyways, yeah, aggressive. Maybe an aggressive person, that would be the adjective. Maybe they haven't attacked you yet, but you think that they might. Ooh, they're very, very aggressive.
Anger is just below the surface.
Yeah. Anyways, also, let's talk about the verb enforce, okay? When we enforce something like a law, we back it up. So let's say there's actually a law on the books and people just ignore it. Well, if people ignore it, the law means nothing. So you have to enforce it. So when you enforce a law, let's say, you might say if you break the law, you're going to have to suffer a penalty. We'll penalize you, give you a fine, or something like that. For example, our basketball coach is quite strict and is always trying to enforce good behavior. Yes, behave well, or else I'm going to penalize you and maybe make you run some sprints or something like that. That's what my high school basketball coach used to make us do. Anyways, with that, folks, it's time for a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
好，我们先来看反对者的看法。他们认为政治正确只是在表达过度敏感的另一种方式，而当前的文化氛围呢，催生了社会正义魔人，也就是那些积极执行那种政治正确观点，可是却不是真正相信那些观点价值的人。好，这边有3个单字 ，justice。Justice 表示正义、公正。那么 aggressively 它是副词，表示有冲劲的或者是侵略的。那 Mike 老师在解释单字时用到2个形容词，一个是 forceful forceful 它是形容强而有力的，还有 push 后面加 y 变成形容词，表示咄咄逼人的。好，再下一个单字 enforce 它是动词，是指强制执行或者是强行的实行什么什么。好，那么强制执法的时候，可能会对人去进行这个惩罚嘛。Trav 老师这时候用到 penalize 这个字 ，penalize penalize 这个动词表示惩罚、处罚。这个段落还出现2个重点是，第一个我们要来比较 believe 和 believe in。好 ，believe 这个动词可以表达2种语义。 第一种呢是去相信某事的真实性，像 Don't believe everything you read on the internet， 不要相信所有你在网络上读到的东西。那么第二个是表达认为或是料想，像是 Some people believe they can't survive without their smartphones。有些人认为啊，他们没有智慧型手机就活不下去了。好，那么再来看 believe in， 则可以表达3种语义。第一种是表达相信某人或某事物的存在，例如 Do you believe in ghosts？ 你相信鬼存在吗？好，第二个用法是表达信任某人的能力，对某人有信心，像 You have to believe in yourself before anyone else will。在别人相信你之前，你必须先相信自己，你要先对自己有信心。第三个用法是用来表达相信某事物它是好的或正确的，相信某事物它的效用、意义或是价值。例如 Most people in this country believe in freedom of speech。这个国家大多数的人都相信言论自由。好，再看第二个重点是动词片语 give rise to， 它是表达造成、导致、引起，那么后面必须接名词，它的意思就跟 lead to或是 bring about 或是 result in 一样。例如 Bad eating habits may give rise to various health problems。不良饮食习惯可能会导致各种不同的健康问题哦。好，那接着回到课文中。
Political correctness, a war of words.
To people who support it, political correctness is a way to enforce social justice and equality. The only way to change a term, they say, is through vocal public pressure. Each side claims the other is standing in the way of social progress. So how can we solve this conflict? It's not an easy answer, but one thing might help. Having a little empathy could make society more inclusive while also allowing both sides to understand one another better.
That's unfair and I don't like it. I'm going to call you out for what you said. That might be something that a social justice warrior might say. And yeah, even though you can critique social justice warriors, these types of people, well, political correctness still has a good ring to it for me. It sounds like the right thing to do. So, for people like me, to people who support it, political correctness is a way to enforce social justice and equality. There you go. Just watch your words.
Yeah, have a little bit of sensitivity and don't be afraid to learn a lesson or two from someone with a different point of view. And if everyone does that, there'll be more equality in society. We'll all be treated equally, no matter what gender you are, or race you are, or how physically, how your physical abilities or things like that. Equality is basically the state of being equal or being treated equal to others, especially under the law, under the laws of the country, of the government, that kind of thing, and in society as a whole. For example, Scott hopes that true racial equality can one day be a reality. So everyone is treated just like Martin Luther King said, because of who they are and not because of the color of their skin. I'm paraphrasing, but the idea was don't treat people differently because of where they come from or how they look, but based on, who they are and what they do.
The content of their character.
Exactly.
Anyways, social justice warriors are known for calling people out, and sometimes people don't like that. But the only way to change a term, they say, and I agree with this again, is through vocal public pressure, i.e., calling someone out, not letting something go, saying, I don't like what you just said, so I am going to vocalize here. I am going to say something in public to call you out or to put vocal public pressure on you.
That's right, but sometimes this can sort of take the form of an argument or a fight. Each side claims the other is standing in the way of social progress. Everyone feels that they're right, the other guy's wrong. They have to change because I'm doing everything just right, so I don't need to do anything differently. Of course, both sides are going to be wrong in different situations. So how can we solve this conflict? How can we break through this and make life better for everyone?
Well, it's not an easy answer, but one thing might help. Having a little empathy could make society more inclusive while also allowing both sides to understand one another better. So there you go, be sensitive, have some empathy, i.e., be able to stand in someone else's shoes and to see the world from their point of view, okay? There's a difference, by the way, between sympathy and empathy. If you have sympathy, you feel bad for someone. You feel pity. If you have empathy, you're able to see things from their point of view. And yes, that's super, super important. Anyways, our article is now complete, but we still have the what do you think question to ask and then answer. Mike, is being politically correct a good thing, or does it get in the way of free speech?
Well, I think people should try to be politically correct for the reason that we all have things that might upset us, that might hurt our feelings, and we should understand that other people feel the same way, but maybe just about different things. So empathy, putting yourself in their shoes, maybe what you said wouldn't bother you, but something they might say could. So think about if the situation was reversed. How would you feel if they hurt your feelings and didn't seem to care? Well, we should all care a little bit more, listen a little bit more, be much kinder, and try to get along a little bit more instead of just looking for things to fight about or looking for reasons to be offensive.
I can live with that. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to say bye-bye for now. But don't worry, we'll be back with more next month.
有些人评论说，政治正确催生了社会正义魔人。不过，对支持者来说，政治正确性是一种强制社会正义和平等的方式。他们说，唯一的方法就是要说出来，透过公开压力来改变用字。好，那么单字 equality。Equality 它表示平等、均等，像你可以用来表达说地位啊、权利、责任等等的平等。好，还有我们看到文中有 vocal 这个字 ，vocal 是形容大声说话的、直言不讳的。我们在后面加上 ize 会变成动词 vocalize 表示说出来，用言语表达出来。那 Jeff 老师刚刚还用到 critique 这个字 critique 它当动词可以表示评论，那么当名词表示评论批评。那么老师们刚刚还有套用马丁路德的名言，说是要以品格的内涵来评价，而非肤色。那只是老师们是换句话说的方式来表达。那这边补充一下 paraphrase 这个动词 paraphrase 这个动词就表达改述、换句话说的意思。好，那课文提到说，支持和反对双方都声称对方阻碍了社会进步。那要解决这样的冲突，可能需要同理心，彼此站在对方的立场，从相反的角度来看事情。那 Mike 老师刚刚用到 reverse 这个字 reverse 可以用来形容相反的、颠倒的。好，那我们刚刚说阻碍社会进步，课文用到的片语是 stand in the way of 来表达试图阻止、力图阻挠。那么 in the way of somebody or something， 或者是用 in somebody's way、in something's way， 我们可以表达让某人做某事更加困难，或者是表达阻止某事发生的意思。我们常常会搭配动词 get、stand 或者是 be 动词。举例来说，Don't let anything stand in the way of your goal. 别让任何事物阻碍你追求目标。好，那么以上今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
欢迎来到一混淆字大解析，我是 Holly。
Welcome everybody to Confusing Words. I'm Shane.
All right, just hurry up.
Okay, today we have 3 words. Tour, travel, and trip.
OK， 所以这中文的3个都是旅行的意思，那到底哪里不一样呢？Tour 就是游览、观光、参观督促景点的那种感觉，比较像是有可能是一套行程这样走下去。
那个感觉是会有导游，就是带你去
对
sightseeing place, right? So, for example, a bus took us on a sightseeing tour of the city.
所以有一辆公车载着我们游览这座城市。
Okay, so how about travel?
Travel 呢，旅行一样是旅行，但是它比较有长途旅行的意思。
Yeah, the feeling is it will go for a while, and you're going to do that to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So you could say, it's fun to listen to Dong talk about his world travels.
所以听着 Dong 谈他的世界游历，感觉很有趣。
So the last one is trip. This feels different from travel because it could be much shorter,
Yeah.
right? So you could take a trip to the supermarket.
Yeah， 所以它比较像是短暂停留的一个往返行程。我只是去银行一趟，我只是去市场一趟，都可以用 trip 这个字。
And you can use trip for somewhere, a business trip, right?
对对对。
So it could be for more than one day or something, but the feeling is you have to get something done. It's not really fun.
对，可能是有目的性的一个旅程。
So for example, how long was your business trip?
哦，请问你出差多久呢？
Okay, let's take a trip to...
live action. How was your trip to Zimbabwe?
It was really amazing. I saw zebras, giraffes, and elephants. It was so cool.
Great! I know you usually don't like to travel, so I was worried you wouldn't have fun.
Usually I don't like to travel because I hate planning and making decisions when I'm in a foreign country.
Oh, so did you join a tour this time?
Exactly. All I had to do is show up and the tour guide took care of the rest. It was super relaxing and fun.
Sounds like a great trip.
Totally. I was there for 2 weeks and traveled all around Zimbabwe. It was an incredible journey through a beautiful country. I highly recommend it.
I will definitely put Zimbabwe on my list of places to travel to.
Want to see some pictures?
Ooh.